Now in this video, we finish our second cutting of hay. We make a few racks of small square bales and make some large round bales as well. We try and get it all done before we get hit with more rain and our field floods again. Well, now it's the beginning of August here, and we're gonna get our second cut on this alfalfa field. This is our bigger field, 10-acre field, and all this is laying over. It doesn't look bad on camera, but the plants would have been up to my knee and then they fell over. And the reason why it's laying over is because it's been 60 days since we've done our first cutting. It's pretty much rained half an inch every single day for the past 30 days, at least in July. And then there's about 2 days of sun, 1 day of rain for the past 60 days. There was one window I missed that was very small, so we might only be able to cut this one way. Here's kind of what it looks like, very similar to our first cutting. This is probably less out here, but it's even more laid down. We need to make sure our mower is cutting this and getting underneath it, so I might only be able to mow this one direction. Last time I mowed, I broke something on the mower, so we got to fix that real quick. So here's the old one that we broke on the mower, and I have a replacement one, but they're all too long, and how the mower's set up, you need it to shorten. So we're gonna cut it down to size here, shorten it. All right, then we got that shaft on the mower now connected. Our hoses are connected and we are ready to mow. So now that we did our first pass, it was laying this way, and so we got a good, really clean cut all the way to the ground. Super happy with that. If we could do that the whole time, that would be perfect. But then now you can see how that is all laid over and the stems are laid over. We're losing a lot of leaves just because it's so mature too. So it's gonna cut great going that way. It's just going that way that's gonna be our problem. So the ground's still gonna be soft in spots. It just is what it is. We're dealing with wildfire smoke as well. I've never seen this much smoke before over like the past 5 years when I feel like it's been prevalent. So I want to hurry up and get this cut, even though the ground isn't as dry as I would like it. We're still drying out from all that rain, even though it hasn't rained in like 5 days. And then here's my second round around the field. I changed the windrow. And then this is what it looks like when we're mowing with the way it's laying over. So we do not want this left in the field. We want to cut that. And there's way worse spots like this right here. I mean, it's super tall. That's almost knee high. That's still laying over in the field. So we're gonna have to mow this one way because it's gonna be a pain in the butt next cutting too if I don't get that cut off. Well, since we got all the time in the world, thought it would be a good opportunity to teach Josie how to drive the tractor. She's doing a pretty good job, and we're just mowing one way. We got to, because it does such a bad job if you go with the way it's laying down. First time running it without me next to her. We're probably almost halfway done here. It just takes a long time. Going one way, it takes twice as long actually. We got Josie running the mower and she's doing a good job. First time ever running it. We got it set pretty narrow there, where it hits the shields and narrows up. Well, we got half of the 10 acres done, the stuff that stays a bit drier. And then we went down over these weeds. There's another 5 acres of alfalfa, and we found some water. So I wanted to get in there, see what it was like. It was pretty wet. Some of that stuff probably just bush hog it. Some of it will still be good. Now it's the next day, and this is like the bottom of our field here. There's kind of two separate parts. There's high up with some slope so it drains well. Then down here is kind of like a pool. I did one pass around the field just to see how wet it was. And we did rut up the field actually with the mower. And actually the parts of the ground that's the wettest are those that are actually have some slope to it, where there's flat ground uphill of it, if that makes sense. Because that water will go down and then shoot out the side right where I'm standing, and it'll just stay wet for, this will probably stay wet for another week, even though it won't rain. But today we're actually gonna head up north to a neighbor's a couple miles, and there's 5 acres of alfalfa that he wants me to mow just because I got the crimper on it, and that way it'll dry a day or two faster. First time with custom mowing, right? Using our new mower that we fixed up and using it. So I'm gonna head up that way. Before we head out, I wanna hit it with the grease gun. And then for the second time this year, my truck that has the fuel tank in it broke down. I just don't have a fuel gauge on this thing too, so I gotta be kind of cognizant of how much we're burning. We made it to the field here. This is the first cutting on this field. There's clover, some alfalfa, grasses, so it's standing pretty good. Now this part of the field was super thick, and I was surprised at how well the mower was able to handle it. We got the field knocked out here, and it was just shy of 6 acres, and thankfully there wasn't too many wet spots. We'll be back here in a few days, and we're gonna end up square baling it. Then I came back the next morning to move some round bales that we made from last video on our smaller 5 acre field. I got a 3-point bale spear here, and we're gonna move these off before we get mowing the rest of the field. Then here's the aftermath of all this rain. Just killed off the field here, and there's still water sitting in the tall grass spot, so I doubt anything comes back here. And in the tree line, should be good. All right, so yesterday we were mowing, and the thing that I repaired actually came off. I don't know why it did it when it did, and then the chain was running everywhere. So the mower's out of service, and I need to get everything mowed today to have it baled by Friday. There's a bit of hay left to cut down there. I don't know if I'll get to it. We're gonna use the neighbor's disc mower. We used it last year, we'll see how that goes. So I'll get unhooked from this, go get that. This is my bean field here. I don't know, there's about 2 acres of waterways roughly. So this is first cutting here. The weeds have grown up. Ideally, I would have cut this like early June. Got the grass waterway mowed down. Now we're back to the wet part of our alfalfa field, as it's been a couple days now to dry out. Trying to go real nice and slow and let the mower cut good. We're only able to go one way. Still sitting water here, the yellow spots, and I'm just gonna leave it. All right, now we're back out in this field that we cut 2 days ago, and we've had really good weather, drying weather. And they raked this up this afternoon. Super thick, you can tell how thick it is there. I mean, monster, and it turns to nothing once you get down there. So that's gonna be a little annoying with the variability. We'll see how it goes. That stuff might be too wet, where that stuff's totally dry. See it, Ty. Now we ended up making about 300 bales on this field. Then we went and did some smaller patches, and the sun was starting to set, so the dew came in and the hay was getting too tough to bale. Then overnight we got 0.4 inches of rain, quite a bit more than we were expecting on all of our down hay. And this is what our field is looking like a couple days later when it's starting to dry back out. Well, this ended up turning out not so good, as you can tell by the color. This got rained on. We got about 0.4 inches Wednesday. Today is Friday afternoon. There is some green underneath, I guess. It's not terrible. So I'm gonna rake it together. The top is crispy. The top got rained on. Round bale this. This is gonna be the best stuff. But way down on the bottom, it is crappy, laid over. It was underwater. And I have to bush hog down there anyway. Half the field I couldn't even cut. So we will, once we're done raking here, I'll have a decision made. I need to rake it anyway, so I'm just gonna merge these two. These are technically 18-foot cuts, because 9 foot, 9 foot. Using Grant's 4020 here. My 4020 is hooked up to the square baler, and we were square baling at the neighbors the other day. This spot would have been underwater for a little bit. This is all just junk, really thin stuff. Up a little bit. I need to close my rake in here a little bit. Hopefully we can get this. All I want to do is take this and shove her in a little bit. All right, we're gonna do that. Throw this here. All right, we got it a lot narrower now. We'll see how that goes. over. It's at least moving it all over now. Then that evening, our neighbor came over and round baled everything. And good thing he came when he did, because the next morning we got 3 inches of rain, and this is what our waterway was looking like. Thankfully, all of our hay bales were kind of off to the side, not in the middle where all of the water was flowing. The bottom of our alfalfa field flooded out again. 3 inches of rain isn't a lot, but it is after we've had 2 months of record rain, and the soil is just fully saturated. The water has nowhere to go. Now we're back in the field 4 days after we got all that rain, 3-inch rainstorm. And now the ground is somewhat soaked it in, and I want to get these bales off here. And I still left everything down there that is still not, that's just sitting in a windrow. I should probably bush hog that up here soon. The little 3-point stabber's working good here. Lifts it up, and these are good and tight. These guys are just going to the neighbors for some cattle feed, roughage. Not too good of feed quality here with all the rain and everything. I think there's like 14 or 15 bales. There's quite a bit of stuff out here. It just, it got rained on and all that, so. So we just got one more bale to move here, and this is what the bottom of our field's looking like. This is all dead, dirty, flooded, and then that is like sitting water right here. We didn't end up baling any of this. I just thought it was too junky. We got all the bales sorted here, stacked up. We made about 15 here. If we could have made good hay, there's a lot of stuff out here. And so I'm hoping that the ground's gonna dry out now. The forecast looks good after this rain we just got. So thank you guys for watching the video. We'll be back out here in a few weeks. Hopefully do third cutting. I'm gonna try and square bale it all, and yeah, see how that goes. So